Hi guys, and welcome to Total Technik. Just a quick reference video for you today. This is a good example as to why, as you'll see in a lot of our service videos, we always replace the oil sump plug washer, and often we'll replace the actual sump plug itself as well. And we've got a classic example of exactly why we do that here today. So this car's come into us. We've never done any work on this car before, and we've just dropped the under tray down. We noticed coming through the bottom of the under tray there was a oil leak, and we had a few drops of oil on the garage floor this morning. Open it up and we can see quite blatantly that we have a lot of seepage around the oil pan area here, and in particular around the actual sump plug. And what we'll do is we're going to go around the back in just a second and have a look at this. You can see exactly where this is coming from. So here is the view from the rear. Gravity on this is facing slightly backwards, so the oil will drip to the rear. You can see it coming out from under the rear seal on the sump plug, and you can see that there's a drip just building up just here. Look at that. Now that's going to be caused, this problem's going to be caused through one of two possible scenarios. The first one is that the sump plug has not been torqued to the correct specification, and so it is too loose, which of course is hugely dangerous because in theory it could become looser and looser, and yeah, it is possible over time for that to fall out completely, which would be a complete disaster. And your second option is that your sump plug washer has a failure. And when we say failure, it can kind of fail in one of several different ways. What can happen is if you don't put a new one on, and it's the sump plug washer, and this one looks to be a rubber one, often they're copper, but what can happen is if you're reusing the same one, especially if it's rubber, that rubber would have squeezed, it would have maybe perished in certain areas, and so that would obviously eventually is going to lead to a leak. However, if you've got a copper one, what can happen is as you tighten it to factory specification, it will actually form, because it's a very soft metal, to any imperfections that are on the actual sump pan itself. So if you then put that same washer on again and tighten it, obviously that washer is going to end up in a different place. It's not going to be in an identical place, and it will deform to the new shape, and so any kind of small gaps that were formed from previous use will be in a different position, and that can lead to what we're seeing here. So as we can see, this is a really good example of exactly why you should be ensuring that you replace that sump plug washer every time you do an oil change, because you do not want this to happen, and it's so easily avoided, and a new washer is very, very inexpensive. Sometimes if they're kind of rubber sealed or whatever, you'll want to get rid of that and replace the whole plug, but again, you know, the plugs are only $2-3 for a non-genuine one, and you're better off replacing it every time with a non-genuine one than you are risking a leak such as this. If you suspect you might have a leaking washer on your sump plug like this, a good way to tell is to have a good look around the whole of the pan. You can kind of see, because the oil kind of spreads out, but nothing has come, if you look along the edges here, nothing has come from above. And again, you can check this on the other side, which we already have. So it's not oil that's coming down and finding the lowest point. It's definitely all coming from that area. You can see it's running across in this direction right here, and you've got kind of a low point just there. I don't know how well you can see that. Just on the tip of my finger there, we've got a big old drip of oil just waiting to happen there. So that's a good way to check, is because obviously if you do have oil that's coming from above your pan, it can leak down. So it's always worth double checking that if you think that it might be the washer that's leaking, to have a look. Could it be oil that's come down from any side of the engine, and it's just kind of finding this low point, because it will appear visually to be very, very similar, but definitely not. We've checked this all the way around, and there is no place that oil is coming from above this point, and we can see very clearly this is leaking heavily from the back, so we know for a fact that that is our culprit. So there we go, guys. Hopefully it's been helpful or interesting for some of you guys. If so, can you please be sure to hit that like button here on YouTube before you leave us. If you could hit that subscribe button, it would be very, very much appreciated. Thanks for watching, guys, and we'll see you again.